So I don't know if you heard, but yesterday Insomniac was hacked. Essentially, they had a bunch of stuff leaked, a bunch of stuff that people have been wondering about, where we were able to get release dates or be in the know of several different games that are in development, and be able to see game footage from games like Wolverine and a bunch of other things. And initially I covered it. I specifically covered the Wolverine stuff because I saw the clips and was like, oh, this is exciting. And had mixed feelings about it because during the leak, they also leaked employees' private information. I talked about how, oh, that's bad, all that stuff. But in digging more into these leaks, as I was like considering covering it more, because there's way more stuff to talk about, as I dug into it and found out what happened and how this stuff got leaked, I was like, oh, this isn't like a normal leak where like somebody in development is able to like leak something to a scooper, or like a game has a website domain bot for it and we're like, ooh, curious, there's like a Venom game being made by the looks of things. That this was different. I'm gonna dive into it and why this leak was really bad. And it's again one of those things that's just happening at Sony that I don't fully understand, so let's dive into it. So the primary reason why this thing was bad is that it was blackmail, which I didn't fully understand when I covered it, but what this tech, I don't know, company, whoever this is, did was take a terabyte of data from Insomniac and hold it at ransom, essentially like doing cyber terrorism, where they're like, hey, Insomniac, pay us a bunch of money in Bitcoin or we're going to release this amount of data into the world. And essentially they threatened them and blackmailed them, which is illegal. Like, this is like a criminal offense that they did. And Insomniac pretty much said, like, yeah, go for a walk. We're not negotiating with terrorists, essentially. And so they released the footage and files like they said they would. Now, the reason why in hearing this hits a little different is because this is like bad. Like, this is like criminal activity that these people did. And now this information's out there and people are covering it, and I covered it. Like, I'm not alone in it. And it's like, dang, like what a horrible position for Insomniac, where you either set a precedent of, hey guys, you can hack us and we'll pay you a bunch of money. Because you know that if they were to do that, a bunch of other people would have hacked Insomniac and other Sony developers and then asked for ransom money, essentially. So they couldn't just pay them because it would set a precedent that you can do this and get paid. But then at the same time, they had no idea what was in that 1 terabyte. And then these employees' information, like driver's licenses and stuff, got leaked, like a bunch of horrible stuff that... like, oh, it's just terrible because we're not even like, who cares about video games? Like, we're not just talking about, I don't know, clips from Wolverine and projects that are secretly in development. We're talking like people's personal information was doxed and leaked because of blackmail and them holding a ransom to Insomniac, and that's insanely messed up. And I think yeah, in hindsight, I probably just wouldn't have covered it at all, because what it does is it gives them more attention. So now these leakers who aren't just leaking things normally, where stuff just kind of comes out and it's not done in a harmful way, that these people who actually maliciously did something bad are now getting rewarded either way, where either they get their money or they get their like 10 minutes of fame, and it's messed up. And to be honest, for the most part, it isn't beneficial for fans to even have this information. It's cool to see clips from Wolverine. It's not a great representation of the final product. It's exciting to be like, oh, it looks good, but it's early developmental stuff. To know release dates of games that are coming out in like 2028 isn't really helpful. Part of the reason why studios have moved away from announcing their games so early is because you get kind of like announcement fatigue. If you hear about a game coming out for so long that by the time it comes out, people don't care and don't get it and are actually kind of sick of hearing it, that's kind of what happens. And so studios want to avoid that. They want to give fans an exciting experience where, like the Wolverine trailer, you get a reveal trailer that gets everybody super pumped and looks really great and gets everybody excited. And essentially that was stolen from Insomniac, that they don't get that anymore, that they don't get to give their fans, a large part of people won't know what games are coming out, but a large portion do, and that information's out there, and it sucks that they're working on these really great games that people are genuinely going to be excited for, that is now that excitement's been taken away from the developer and the people working hard on it, and that kind of sucks. But again, I don't know what's going on at Sony. I don't know why this seems to happen to them so often. I don't know what their security looks like, but it looks terrible, because this has happened to so many studios so many times. And it wasn't even just with The Last of Us, because that was kind of the first one. The Last of Us Part 2 was the first big one that happened that was bad. And it really tainted people's experience of the game, because a lot of people hate the game and they've never even played it. And I really genuinely think if people were able to play the game for the first time and avoid the leak, that they had a very different experience than those who read the plot details or saw a clip and knew what happened. And in a similar way too, that happened later with Naughty Dog, where they got even more information hacked and leaked again. And now Insomniac, and it just feels like, man, something is going on at Sony that they need to sort this crap out. Because it's one thing to have gameplay leaked from your game or plot details or whatever. That's honestly not that big of a deal. It's another thing to have your employees' information being leaked. Like, that's just irresponsible. And I am still baffled at how a tech company that is supposed to have like security is so bad at having security, that it wasn't that long ago that PlayStation had everybody's visas be leaked from having their PlayStation Online accounts. And just like stuff like this feels like it always happens to them, and it's irresponsible, and they need to do a better job of protecting their employees, protecting their consumers, protecting their developers. And I hope this makes them wake up and take that stuff more seriously, because it's not good for anybody. And so I hope that Sony figures that out. But with that being said, I want to know what you guys think. When you hear about these leaks and you hear about them being from blackmail, does that change the way you feel about them? It did for me, where I was like, oh, it's just a leak, whatever, to being like, oh no, like this is like way darker than just a leak. What were your thoughts on hearing that? Why do you think this keeps happening to Sony? And what do you think they need to do, if anything, to kind of course correct and make sure this doesn't happen again? Like, comment, subscribe, all that junk. Hopefully something like this doesn't happen again, but it feels like it's inevitable that it will. I feel bad for everybody at Insomniac. I hope they're able to recover and able to sort out that stuff. Until next time, guys, I will see you in the next one.